These men think they freak just like we do, but no they don't. Make your check come at their neck. Disrespect us, no they won't.
This is Yana, your lovely host of the Always Elevating show on TheWEN, Women Empowerment Network. And I'm back with another episode. Happy Women's History Month, Women's Herstory Month. So happy to bring you all another lovely professional woman who's doing her thing in her industry, and she is a writer. I think a lot of young people don't know the avenue and the opportunities that are available to them that involves writing. There's a path for you, and there are several paths for you, and here's just one for you today. So I have with me my girl, my friend, Lane. Lane, hey girl.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
Tell us about yourself and your career journey.
Sure.
So far.
Well, I am a technical and promotional copywriter. I currently work for an e-commerce company, and I also have my own content platform on the side.
Awesome. How did we meet?
We met on Bumble.
BFF.
Oh yes, Bumble BFF. I always forget there's another part.
So we met on Bumble BFF.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, like she and I just
hit it off.
vibed. Yeah, so cool. There are several platforms out there if you're looking for other people in your similar industry or not, if you want to get away from people in your industry and just connect with other, growing professional women. Bumble BFF is a pretty cool place. I think it's okay still, but
Yeah.
Try it.
I thought that for you. So.
All right, so a little bit more about your personal journey before we get into the career part. Like, what was your personal journey to becoming a writer?
Yeah. It definitely wasn't a straight and narrow path. I actually graduated in advertising, so I always thought I wanted to be more on the graphic design end. And then as the years went by, I realized that I really enjoyed writing and editing. And my path kind of led me into e-commerce writing, and that formed into product descriptions, and then that formed into overall copy and editing. Yeah.
Okay. And when you were in college, is this when you sort of figured that interest out, or was it post-college?
It was in college, and I didn't really know how to, play it, like put it into play. I just knew that it was an avenue I could take, being a copywriter, but I didn't really know what that was at the time. Yeah, and throughout the years, it just kind of formed into its own thing. Yeah.
An important part of this conversation for some of you, and obviously please type in the comments or DM any questions that you have about this field in this industry, because it sounds pretty niche, like it's products, it's product writing, and it's e-commerce. So I get that that's something that you probably developed over time, but in terms of taking that writing interest and that editing interest and turning that into copy editing, where did you first learn about copy editing and what it was?
I learned about it in college, actually in like a marketing class, and we actually, I actually had a script writing class, and part of that was copywriting that they called, and then the other part was like script writing for more like corporate stuff, and then I had to do my own research and figure out my niche in it. Yeah.
Gotcha. And what was that first job in copy editing that you got? And you were like, this is what I like, this is what I want to do.
Okay, well first I'll tell you my first job that I did not like.
Okay, great.
And it kind of has formed me and how I know what I like now.
Great.
So my first job was Burlington Coat Factory. Now it's called Burlington, but back then it was called Burlington Coat Factory. And I was literally in a sweatshop, like just writing products, literally off the rack. I had to measure, and I was writing those details, and I was, putting my own little spin on this 2 sentence paragraph. And I was like, I know there's more to this. Like, I don't just have to be like a product description writer. So I, created my own portfolio. I made my own little free website, and I kept putting myself out there on Indeed, LinkedIn, And, you know, I did my own spec work too, which comes with, you know, being a writer. Like, sometimes you gotta make up your own blogs. Like, take something that you're interested in and...
Did y'all write that down? It's called spec work?
Spec work, yeah.
Spec work.
And that's just, like, pretty much the industry that you do want to work in. Like, you can make your own, you know, samples. So that way they know you're interested and you can, you know, come up with your own ideas and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's free.
That's awesome. You created your own website and you started pitching yourself
as a copywriter.
Yes. And from there, you landed this new opportunity.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And now I pretty much write anything from e-commerce to marketing materials to social media content. Yeah, I do it all. I script write as well. So
that's awesome. And so, is there anything that you could share with young girls and young ladies interested in taking their writing to the next step? Whether that be script writing, product writing, blog writing. A lot of people are still blogging now and making money as a freelance blogger. That was huge back like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, not so much, but still making money for influencer bloggers.
Definitely.
So for people in any avenue of writing, are there skill sets that you can share that are very important for them to acquire?
Yeah. I would say definitely practice makes perfect in anything. Definitely reading. If blogging is something that you want to do, or it could be anything, read what other people have done, definitely, to see where you can, you know, put your own spin on it. And having like a grasp of even bare basic English grammar, literally. You don't have to know where the commas go. No one knows. Like that's why we have spell check on Word. So yeah, like just honing that individual talent that you have, that you know that you have in writing, which also comes with confidence. So.
What kept you then empowered? Like, this is what I think I want to do, to knowing this is what I want to do. What kept you in that mindset? And then what keeps you still now on this writing journey?
Yeah. Well, for one, when I was still trying to find like my place in it, my friends and my family would tell me, like, no, you can write, you can do this, you can do anything you want to. That definitely helps, having your own support system. And again, just doing like your own research and people, like the influencers or, you know, your mentors that you've had in school or whatever, they're like their path, like looking at what they've done and seeing the avenues that they've taken, because you really can do anything that you want.
And how important people are to your own goals, visions, confusions coming to fruition, and really empowering you and pushing you forward. So a lot of people want to sidebar. A lot of people want to retire the term women empowerment because they're like, I'm tired of being empowered. But somehow it's still the very thing that's pushing all of us to next levels or the next tier in our life of goals that we're looking to achieve. And so I think women empowerment is still very much so relevant and real.
I never get tired of it. I need daily empowerment.
In terms of intangible skill sets that helped you achieve your success so far, what would you say are some intangibles?
I would say definitely resilience and adaptability, especially if you're in this marketing branding world, because, you know, it's a little bit of your own talent and then what you see for whatever company you're working for, or if it's your own thing, you know, your audience. Like, you really have to be adaptable to it because markets change all the time. So yeah, that's that kind of that they don't teach you, like, you know, in skill classes or anything.
Were there any challenges more closely that you think, just maybe from talking to other friends in other industries or other mentors in other industries, were there challenges in the writing arena that you felt like you faced?
Yeah.
And as a woman of color?
Totally. Yeah, so like I mentioned before, my first job is being like a strictly product description writer. I had a really hard time trying to get out of that because people have already labeled me into this box, and you're bigger than the box. Yeah, especially with writing, because if writing is something that you really want to do, writing is something that, you know, applies to any and everything. So you can do way more than one aspect in it. So definitely don't let people just put you into one thing if that's not what you want to, you know, do. That's why that was my biggest challenge, yeah, getting out of that label that, you know, employers love to put us in.
Got it.
Yeah.
I read an article recently about the editor-in-chief at Vogue and how Vogue seems to be very outdated and they need new writers and new fashion editors and things of that nature. And I feel like that's part of that box mentality that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're maybe working with a boss who has a very antiquated mindset, or they can't let go of the past and how vibrant for their time the past was, but you're like, you see the future. Mm-hmm. You see the next great copy editing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's really important. Being out of the box within your work environment really helps break that challenging barrier. So with all that said, what would you say of all of the success, of all of the clarity in career direction, which is amazing and where most people want to get to with their passion, their career life, what's next for you?
What's next for me is making my own schedule, possibly being like a consultant for like marketing companies or something along those lines. Like being a full-time freelancer is like kind of the dream. Yeah, my goal.
Okay.
Yeah, and then doing my own personal content stuff as well. Yeah.
Awesome. If there are any more questions from the ladies who want to learn more about copy editing, or specifically e-commerce or product description writing or anything dealing in one of those areas, how can they connect with you to ask you more questions and learn more about this field and the opportunities in it?
Well, you can email me at lanebethune@outlook.com.
Isn't that such like an awesome name? Lane Bethune.
Thank you.
Y'all better know, Mary McLeod Bethune is a major historical woman, okay?
Yes, I'm lucky to have a little bit of her bloodline.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay, so y'all can email her and okay.
Yes.
So send her an email, ask her any other questions that you have, and she'll take it away from there. Thank y'all so much for joining us on yet another episode. This is all for you. I hope that you're getting everything that you need in terms of real world connections, people who are very down to earth, not going to blow you all, and they're happy to share the struggle and also share sort of their pathway to becoming. I think that is a missing piece a lot of times with people in this space of career development and career coaching, or just helping people at a real level realize that they can do it, they can learn about it, and this is an avenue that they can take to get there. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Who run this world? 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 Who run this world, girls? Some of these men think they freak just like we do, but no they don't. Make your check come at their neck. Disrespect us, no they won't. Boy, don't even try to touch this. Boy, this beat is crazy. This is how they made me. Each time